Imagine strapping yourself to a rocket, sitting barely off the asphalt, with your heart redlining before you've even hit turn 1. The air, thick with heat, pressure, and the smell of burning rubber. This isn't driving. This is surviving speed in its most savage form. The moment you drop into an F1 cockpit, everything your brain thinks it knows about driving a car gets thrown out the window. You're not sitting. You're basically lying flat, legs stretched out like you're trying to nap in a carbon fiber coffin. And your feet. They're higher than your hips. It's like a chiropractor's worst nightmare, but on purpose. Every inch of that tight little space is sculpted to your body, not for comfort, but for survival. It's less of a seat and more of a second skin, built so you and the car feel like one fused high-speed organism. And the crazy part? That's just the starting position. Now look around. This isn't a cozy driver's seat with cup holders and playlists. You're locked into a survival cell, literally called that, with walls made from 60 layers of carbon fiber. 60. That's how much tech it takes to keep you from turning into abstract art in a crash. There's a roll bar behind your head so strong it could moonlight as military armor. And wrapped around you are crash zones, fire-resistant panels, and safety systems that secretly admit, yeah, this whole thing might go sideways at any second. And then you try to see. Good luck. That thing's smack in the middle of your vision. It's called the halo. Great for protecting your skull. Not so great for actually seeing where you're going. Pair that with a helmet visor and the fact that you're practically lying down. And suddenly you're peaking at 200 miles per hour through a mail slot. But wait, now glance down. That thing in your hands, that's not a steering wheel. That's a command center straight out of a sci-fi movie. It has 25 buttons, switches, toggles, and knobs. Some manage engine modes. Others shift the brake balance mid-corner. There's even one that caps your pit lane speed while your foot is flooring it. That one, it's called the PL button, because even robots deserve abbreviations apparently. And you've got to master all of this while your head is being pulled off your neck by 5 Gs. Your body's cooking in a 140-degree sauna, and your hands are vibrating like you're trying to defuse a bomb on a roller coaster. The whole thing is so intense that teams won't even show their full steering settings on camera. They bleep out the secrets like it's national security. Each of these wheels? $60,000. For one. That's 2 family sedans, and you'll use a handful of them every season, each custom built to your grip, each one tested, calibrated, and wired tighter than a NASA launch pad. Driving an F1 car? It's not just fast, it's not just technical, it's a full-body, full-brain beatdown, with a side of adrenaline that makes everything else in life feel like dial-up internet. Welcome to the part of the ride where physics stops playing nice and starts throwing haymakers. G-force hell. This is where the F1 experience goes from thrilling to downright punishing. Because it's not just about going fast, it's about what your body has to endure while doing it. And the first thing that hits you isn't even the acceleration. It's the weight, the crushing, relentless weight. Picture this. Every time you take a corner, it's like someone drops a refrigerator onto your chest, not once, not twice, but 50 to 70 times per lap. Then multiply that by however many laps it takes to cover around 300 miles. You're carrying the equivalent of your own personal gym set for nearly 2 hours straight. Accelerating? That's 3 to 4 Gs trying to shove you into the seat like a pancake. Braking? That spikes to 6 Gs, which is basically your body yelling, "Hey, remember gravity?" It's 6 times worse now. But the real monster? It's the corners. Take turn 1 at Suzuka. You enter screaming at 260 kilometers an hour, and suddenly you're hit with over 5 Gs of lateral force. If you weigh 70 kilos, your body now feels like it weighs 350. That's a grand piano strapped to your torso. And you're not just surviving that force for a split second. You're holding it for multiple seconds, lap after lap. It's the human equivalent of being in a high-speed blender. And while the rest of your body's begging for mercy, your neck's on its own mission in survival mode. That helmet, which usually weighs about 7 kilos, suddenly feels like 40. Just imagine your neck holding up a toddler made of lead while someone spins you around a racetrack at full tilt. If those muscles aren't trained to freakish levels, you'll get whiplash without even touching another car. That's why F1 drivers work their necks like bodybuilders, using weird resistance rigs that would make most gym rats tap out. Now here's the part that really pushes this into sci-fi territory. When things go wrong, the G-forces don't just escalate, they explode. Romain Grosjean hit 67 Gs when he crashed in Bahrain. That's his entire body momentarily momentarily weighing almost 4 tons. Max Verstappen once took a 51G hit and climbed out like it was a fender bender. Crashes like these are survivable, not because physics takes a break, but because F1 engineering has turned survival into an exact science. But before we crown the G's as the worst part of the job, let's talk about the unsung horror of F1 driving: braking. Because if the G-force pummels you into submission, braking is what keeps you from being flung into orbit. Forget your idea of tapping the brakes at a red light. In an F1 car, braking is more like declaring war on your legs. You're slamming down with 150 kilograms of force on one foot, basically lifting a full-sized fridge with your leg while G-forces are trying to tear your face off. And you do this hundreds of times per race, repeatedly, precisely, mercilessly. And it's not just slam and pray. F1 braking is a delicate, high-stakes game. Drivers don't just hit the pedal, they modulate it, using a technique called trail braking. That means easing off the brake slowly, while diving into a corner to keep weight on the front tires for better grip. Sounds simple, right? Except the margin for error is measured in grams. Go too hard and you're sliding into the wall. Go too soft and you're losing time. There's no cruise control here. This is a knife-edge dance with physics. Then there's the fact that the brakes themselves heat up hotter than literal lava, over 1,000 degrees Celsius. They glow like they're about to melt through the floor of the car. And yes, you can actually see them turn red hot during heavy braking zones. At some tracks, drivers spend nearly a quarter of every lap just working the brakes. That's around 170 brutal stomps per race, each one a mini workout that demands ridiculous leg strength and laser focus. And if you really want a taste of how violent this gets, just look at Montreal. Braking in F1 isn't about slowing down, it's about controlling chaos, split-second decisions under crushing pressure, repeated hundreds of times, all while your body is screaming for relief. And yet, for these drivers, it's just another day at the office. Speed in Formula 1 isn't just fast, it's mind-melting. We're talking about cars that hit 233 miles per hour like it's just another Tuesday, and they don't even blink, getting from 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. That's not driving. That's teleportation with tire smoke. But what really messes with you isn't the raw speed. It's how fast everything else disappears. The track becomes a smear of color. Trees, gone. Barriers, gone. Your eyes stop being useful, so your body switches to instinct mode. At that point, you're not reacting. You're predicting. And if you guess wrong by half a second, it's game over. There was a guy, Alan van der Merwe, who tried braking 400 kilometers per hour in an old Honda F1 car on the Bonneville Salt Flats. He said the only sign he was going fast was that his helmet was trying to rip itself off and the engine behind him was absolutely howling. Nothing else. Just white blur and sheer velocity. Terrifying. And then there's the sound. F1 cars scream at around 130 decibels, right at the edge of actual pain. That's louder than thunder. Almost as loud as a gunshot, and so sharp it can cause hearing damage in minutes. Back in the V8 days, some circuits literally banned F1 because residents couldn't handle the noise. Inside the cockpit, it's worse. The engine is right behind your skull, the gearbox whines next to your hip, and wind blasts in from every direction. But ask a driver and they'll tell you they barely notice. The adrenaline dials down the noise until all that matters is the feel of the car and the next corner rushing toward you. Now add heat to the chaos. An F1 cockpit isn't just hot, it's brutal. We're talking 122 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, trapped inside a fireproof onesie with an engine roasting behind you and zero airflow. It's like being locked in a sauna with a jet engine while doing calculus at 200 miles per hour. And that heat doesn't just make you sweat, it drains you. Drivers lose up to 9 pounds during a single race. No breaks, no sips of water, just nonstop punishment. George Russell once lost 4 kilograms in Singapore and said it felt like driving in a 60-degree oven. That's not racing, that's survival. But here's the most absurd part. Even while they're frying alive, pulling G's like a fighter pilot, and driving faster than sound feels, F1 drivers maintain rate by G-forces, heat, and deafening noise. Your brain is running its own marathon, and it's just as brutal. F1 drivers aren't just reacting fast, they're performing mental gymnastics at yours or mine. That's not talent, that's evolution by race fuel. In a single lap, a driver's juggling the steering wheel controls, watching tire temps, checking the car behind, talking to their engineer, all while making millisecond decisions that could cost millions or end a career. One mistake, you're done. The pressure isn't just physical, it's psychological warfare, with sponsors, media, and fans breathing down your neck every race. And looming over it all is the one thing most of us would never even get past: the danger. Every driver knows the risks. Fear's not a maybe, it's a passive passenger. But instead of flinching, they flip it. They use it. One driver put it best: fear rides shotgun, but it doesn't touch the wheel. Now take that chaos and compress it into 90 seconds. That's qualifying. No fuel weight, brand new tires, max power, and exactly one chance to get it right. 1 inch wide, you're starting last. One twitch too early on the throttle, your perfect lap is gone. It's the purest test of skill and nerve in motorsport. Charles Leclerc says the moment the visor drops, the world disappears. No press, no pressure, just the lap. Lewis Hamilton calls it the place where legends are made or broken. And they're not exaggerating. It's a shot of pure adrenaline where every breath counts, and there's no time for second guessing. And here's the real kicker. Through all of this, insane speed, blinding pressure, drivers can barely see. You're practically lying down, peeking over your steering wheel through a helmet and a halo device that splits your vision. It's like racing while looking through a mail slot at 200 miles an hour. Thanks to helmet cams, fans now get a glimpse of what that looks like. Spoiler, it's terrifying. The field of view is tiny, and everything outside turns into a blur. But these drivers, they don't need perfect vision. They've trained their brains to read shadows, track paint, tire marks, anything that helps them position the car within millimeters. Former F1 driver Stefan Johansson said it best: drivers aren't even looking straight ahead most of the time. They're scanning mirrors, judging gaps, spotting apexes. That narrow field of view, just another part of the job. Because when you live in a blur, precision isn't about what you see. It's about what you know. There's a reason Formula One doesn't feel like any other sport. It's not just about speed. It's not just about the cars. It's about what happens to the human body when you push it past the red line and somehow still stay in control. To even sit in an F1 car, you have to train your body like you're preparing for war. This isn't your average gym grind. This is brutal. F1 drivers are basically strapping themselves into 1,800-pound missiles and launching them at speeds north of 200 miles per hour for nearly 2 hours straight, with no brakes, no let-ups, and absolutely no margin for error. You don't just need strength. You need the exact type of strength that can handle pulling 5 Gs around a corner, slamming 150 kilograms of force onto a brake pedal, and staying razor sharp the entire time. And the neck training? That's a horror story all on its own. Imagine adding 20 or 30 kilos to your head, just your head, and holding it still while your trainer tries to twist it off. Isometric resistance exercises, weighted helmets, side flexes with elastic cords. It looks like medieval torture because it kind of is, but there's no other way to build a neck that can survive being whipped around by G-forces 70 times a race. Then there's the cardio. These guys aren't just strong. They have cardiovascular systems like long-distance cyclists. Heart rates stay over 170 beats per minute for 2 hours. That's race pace. And in the off-season, it only gets harder. Training twice a day, 6 days a week, 3-hour bike rides before lunch, deadlifts and squats after. All of it tailored to simulate the exact kind of punishment they'll take inside the cockpit. As Daniel Ricciardo puts it, you don't need to look like a bodybuilder or run like a marathoner, but you need this weird, perfect mix of both. Strong enough to wrestle the car through high-speed corners, light enough not to ruin the aerodynamics, conditioned enough to make every second count. That's what separates the fast from the fastest. But training is only half the story. The other half is about staying alive. See, an F1 car is a contradiction. It's a death machine wrapped in life-saving tech. Every inch is designed to keep the driver alive while doing something that should, statistically, kill them. The chassis, what they call the survival cell, is built like a tank. It can absorb impacts that would turn any normal car into scrap metal. Then there's the hands device, the thing that stops your neck from snapping during a crash. It's strapped to your shoulders, locked to your helmet, and it's saved countless lives since it was introduced. Even the racing suit is a miracle. Multiple layers of fireproof material that can take direct flame for precious seconds. But the real magic is behind the scenes. The medical team, the trackside trauma units, the helicopters always ready to go. In seconds, they can reach any crash site. It's like a military-grade emergency response system, because it has to be. Because one mistake at 200 miles per hour doesn't just ruin your race, it can ruin your life. Here's the twist though. The faster these cars get, the safer they become. More speed equals more downforce, which sticks the car to the ground like glue. Better engines mean better energy recovery systems, which reduce the risk of fires. It's this strange paradox. Every upgrade for performance somehow becomes an upgrade for survival too. But even with all of that, the tech, the training, the safety net, there's something you can't simulate, and that's what it feels like on the inside. Imagine the adrenaline of jumping out of a plane, Now imagine that doesn't go away. From the moment the lights go out, your body is in a constant fight-or-flight state. Stress hormones flood your system. Your heart's pounding out of your chest before you even hit turn one, and then it just keeps going. You go from peak euphoria, pulling off the perfect overtake, to soul-crushing disappointment when you lock up and blow a corner. That swing, it's not just emotional, it's chemical, and it messes with your head in ways most people never experience. You enter a zone, total focus. Time slows, the world fades, every movement, every correction, every decision is happening in milliseconds, and you're not just making them, you're making them right. Over and over, for 2 straight hours, all while your body's being pounded, cooked, and mentally broken. George Russell put it best: when you put the helmet on, nothing else matters. You become a different person. It's not just about physical strength, it's about mental clarity under insane pressure. F1 doesn't just test your body, it tests your soul. And that shared test, it creates a bond like nothing else. These guys may be trying to outdrive each other every weekend, but there's a deep respect underneath it. When Max and Ricciardo chat between races, they're not just talking shop, they're trading war stories, because they're part of a club that only a few humans will ever join, and no one else can fully understand what it takes. You see it in the way they support each other after crashes. You see it in the way they train side by side, recover together, share meals, swap advice. The future? It's more downforce, more power, more complexity, more demands on drivers than ever before. Steering wheels now look like control panels for fighter jets, while pulling G's, while sweating buckets, while not dying. So what does it really feel like? Driving an F1 car is controlled insanity. It's like being strapped into a furnace while someone shakes you violently and yells instructions in your ear. It's 140 degrees inside that suit. Your heart's racing at 180 beats per minute. Your neck feels like it weighs 40 kilos. Every bone in your body is screaming. And somehow, your brain is still making pixel-perfect decisions at 200 miles per hour. And here's the wildest part. They love it. F1 drivers crave this chaos. They get addicted to it. Off-season withdrawal is real. You'll hear guys say they need the car. It's not about the money, not even the trophies. It's about chasing a state of existence that doesn't happen anywhere else on Earth. That moment where the mind, body, and machine are perfectly synced, and nothing else exists. Lewis Hamilton, even after 7 world titles, talks about racing with childlike wonder. Sebastian Vettel, he retired, but he still says nothing compares to the feeling of an F1 car at full tilt. Because here's the truth. Driving a Formula 1 car strips away everything normal, comfort, safety, even fear, and asks one question: can you handle this? Can your body survive the torture? Can your mind stay calm in chaos? Can you perform under pressure that would crack most people in seconds? If the answer is yes, then you're not just a driver. You're something else entirely, and when you step out of that car, soaked in sweat, ears ringing, legs shaking, you're different. You've been somewhere few people ever go, and you come back with proof that the human potential has no ceiling. So the next time you watch an F1 race, remember, you're not watching a man drive a car. You're watching a human being brush up against the very edge of what's possible and push a little further. Because Formula 1 isn't just a sport. It's proof that limits exist only until someone drives right past them. If this blew your mind even a little, go ahead, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world that lives right at the edge of human capability. Welcome to Formula 1. Welcome to the impossible.